Have you seen the Scintbird CEO? She does a podcast with her eyes closed to talk to spirits and said Hitler wasn't bad. What? The Scintbird CEO does this. Wait. I know Scintbird. Yeah, wait, you're right. The Scintbird CEO claims to be a spiritual medium. Or, sorry, not a spiritual medium, a spiritual guru. The co-founder of the Netflix for Fragrance, Mariah Nuraslamova, has been moonlighting as a spiritual influencer. Comments on extraterrestrials, The Matrix, and Hitler have recently attracted negative attention. Your teeth are not randomly crooked, there is a spiritual meaning. Every little aspect of the tooth is a map, right? This sounds beautifully unhinged. You see they found a cave on the moon? Oh, we got moon troglodytes now? That's pretty cool. This is I can't find the clips anywhere else right now, so right now, completely reliant on the YouTubers here to bless me with this info. I want to see these readings.
Version of the Matrix will be the default one. The 5th version of the Matrix is actively being incubated, and according to Maria, it's showing really good signs and is looking promising.
Now there is a new version of the Matrix that's being currently incubated. The 5th version of the Matrix.
Matrix
and,
5?
That one is showing signs of really good promise, so...
Maria mentions having a direct...
Wait a minute, I need to go to our website. There's a Matrix 5 dropping? This is Maria. She is the CEO of Scintbird, which I think many of you have probably seen through YouTube sponsors. They were pretty big on influencer marketing, from what I recall.
So when you are inviting black into your body, you're not inviting demons, God forbid. You're not inviting evil into your body. You are inviting this moldable substance that contains all life inside, that contains all light inside, that contains the entire spectrum of everything.
Okay, so she's about to cast a hollow purple. I don't really care about that. Where did she do, like, the spiritual readings? Like, where she talks about Hitler and everything? I don't need to know about her curse technique.
I mean, I'm in the presence of an architect, of the Great Architects Council of Light, but sadly that
is big.
The case.
That is
that
big.
Automatically crushed while listening to her guided meditation for an ultimate womb detox. And
Whoa, an ultimate womb detox? Whoa, hey, hold on, I can use that.
Hello, my darlings, and welcome to Our Sacred Universe, a podcast where we meditate together.
I'm ready.
Today I wanted to offer you a womb healing practice.
Thank
Our
you.
womb space is where we deposit a lot of our hurt, a lot of our pain, a lot of our suffering. But a womb space, or if you will, our sacral space,
I
is
have
something
that.
everyone has.
I have
and
nipples,
so
Greg.
I
Can you milk me?
invite you, if you haven't checked out my book yet,
No, hold on.
it's
I don't need the
out.
hashtag ads here. Just give me my womb needs a little bit of assistance here.
Keep breathing in and out.
Imagine I just have a full body
Using the
orgasm from
power of
this.
your breath to ground and center yourself. Invite the healing vibrations of the universe to enter the sacred space of your womb. through your breath.
See, like, we skip a step. How do I invite the healing vibrations of the universe to fuck my womb or whatever? Like, what do I do? Like, how do I send out the distress signal? That's where these guided meditations always fall apart for me. Like, they make it sound like it's so easy that I can just call upon healing vibrations. Like, I'm not a shaman. Like, can you call it for me? Thanks for membership, Oz. Book a reservation. Yeah, what availability do the healing vibrations have in the universe? I imagine they're probably pretty booked up. Why are you detoxing your womb? It sounded helpful. If you're just tuning in, to give you context, this individual, Maria, is the CEO of Scintbird, which is actually a pretty big company, or at least it was. I don't know if it still is. And according to Chatter, the Scintbird CEO has found herself into some controversy because of this line of work, where apparently she was saying that Hitler wasn't bad through her spiritual guru sessions. And I'm trying to locate that, but I'm getting all, like, sidetracked here, going through these alternate branching paths in the visual novel. So I'm still looking for that, but it's such an interesting tangent Big thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Opera GX is the browser you see me use every single night on stream. It's just my go-to browser, and it has so many features that I just really have come to know and love. Obviously, the one that I always preach about, because it's the one I'm most enthusiastic about, is the fact that Opera GX is not a resource hog like Chrome and other browsers. It is so lightweight but so powerful, and the GX mods that it offers are super fun, so you can really customize it to make it feel like your own and make it feel super unique. There's just so many things you can change and tinker around with. There's so many different ways of integrating extensions that you're already used to in other browsers to seamlessly transition them into Opera. They have the GX store. They just have so many features. The hot tabs killer, forcing things to go from flashbang into forced dark mode, so you don't have to go to a new website and then just get blinded by a bright light. It's just the best browser, in my opinion. So, big thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this. You can download Opera right now for free by clicking the link in the description. The dark truth about coffee, it is a toxin that darkens your aura? What? Coffee is bad for your aura?
It also darkens our aura as it does. As it does so, as it works with our body. So it's almost like when coffee gets into your aura, it creates these little anchors or these little dots of itself. It's almost like it gives an energetic imprint into your body.
What?
And though that energetic imprint is kind of what causes an addiction, because it's gonna.
The energetic imprint is what causes an addiction, and it darkens our aura through that. How the fuck does it touch my aura?
When you evolve.
Okay.
Over time, what ends up happening to your soul is you accumulate more and more light in your body. So you grow and expand, and you grow and expand by accumulating more light and kind of releasing darkness, if that makes sense. Over here,
it makes so much
a lot
sense,
of
actually.
things in your life are dependent on how much light you can hold within your body, especially if you're on spiritual path. For people that are able to hold on a lot of light in their auric fields, their spiritual gifts open up. Their abundance channels open up.
My
their talents
abundance
open
channels?
Up. Essentially, like their higher selves come through, and then the body is considered clean. So your higher self is willing to inhabit more of your physical body.
What is happening?
And therefore, you will always have connected. You become a channel.
That's a lot to process. She's blowing the lid wide open on what it means to be alive. Your higher self gave you this name for a reason. I mean, it's my dad's name. Is that the reason my higher self gave it to me? These are so interesting. I'm never going to find the video where she's apparently talking about Hitler. I'm just going to keep going down these wacky fucking titles. Why did my higher self name me Charles?
Hello, my darlings.
I feel like it's because it's
welcome
my
back to
dad's name.
This is Maria. The topic for today is Maria.com. All right, the mystery of the name. This is kind of a fun topic.
It's not a mystery.
That is
It's
what
just
we're
not a
diving
mystery
into.
for like most people.
I don't think it would be vowels and the consonants in the name, through the letters in the name, connects you to certain aspects of universal flow, universal energy, if you will.
Huh?
And because you're so attached, in a good way, to your name, you have a claim over those energies.
Okay, I claim all of the energies of C-H-A-R-L-E and S. No one else can have them. That's my domain now, and I'm kicking everyone else out. Eliminate pain and heal a specific organ or part of your body. Teaching you how to use the Force. Are you a star seed? Yes. One thing that did come up, though, is called the Karma of Atlantis. It's time to release it. Here's how you can do it right now. Like, raise Atlantis myself? I can do that?
Favorite YouTubers have promoted a brand that normally wouldn't show up on my scam/problematic radar scanner.
Scentbird.
Scentbird
Yeah, I told you it was a big
is
thing.
subscription
Told you that.
company that at least outwardly, because the CEO of Scentbird, Maria Nerislamova, stinks.
Our bodies choose to miscarry children.
Oh.
It's not an accident that happens, it's a choice. If people were to align with their life purpose, we would see a lot less cancer on planet Earth. You could heal yourself from any disease. I don't care if it's cancer. I don't care if it's AIDS. It could be whatever. But you could heal yourself in the span of under 7 days.
We're going to talk about the spiritual reasons for being overweight.
Like Adolf Hitler is one of the poster children for like being an evil person. Do you know how many millions of souls benefited from learning from the experience that he has created. So is he evil? Not really. I don't think so.
Wow, Maria. Those spiritual sessions are sending you down the loony path.
A lot of hidden agendas by the powers that be. And those hidden agendas remain hidden because there is not enough heart space energy in humanity to be able to bring them to light. The heart energy is always the energy of light. The heart energy is always the energy that essentially you emanate your energy from the heart. The heart is one of those energies that if your heart is activated internally, you can heal your whole body in the matter.
I will say, if your heart isn't activated, you're probably not watching this video in the first place. You are dead. Most likely. Bearing some, like, very fringe cases.
That is the power of the heart. It changes your internal ecosystem and it changes your external ecosystem. It just does. It is meant to. It is.
Well, who knew? Who knew? It's like breathing techniques from Demon Slayer, but for your heart. It can do anything. It's just like a bunch of gobbledygook. This is like, there's nothing that binds these statements together. It's just like a random assortment of words that have no real meaning. This is the problem when I'm looking through pages like this. I get so distracted by so many cool titles. She has one here called Babies Control How Long Their Birth Is. Like, this is unhinged. God damn it.
That's why certain births take so long, is in the state of resistance, if the baby's in a state of fear, if the baby doesn't want to access their masculine energies, the birth process is going to take longer. That's why someone...
Wait, what? The baby doesn't want to tap into its masculine energies, so it doesn't want to be birthed? What the fuck? The baby comes out like scoops of, like, creatine. What in the world? Shit's not even born in amniotic fluid, it's just like a bunch of, like, trin. What is this? What is she talking about? This isn't even spiritual.
I have a hard time answering the question about evil because there is such a big gap between how humanity perceives good versus evil and how, you know, even beings in the seventh dimension perceive.
The seventh dimension? Who's in the seventh dimension?
Higher self perceives.
Glorbus? Like, who are you communicating with in the seventh fucking dimension?
Stepping back. Let's say your higher self wants to understand murder.
Should be easy
It's just
to understand.
a fascinating subject for your higher self.
Okay.
If it wants to understand murder,
Jesus Christ.
Angle. So your higher self may choose to come as a victim, as the mother of the victim, as the father of the victim.
Why?
As the teacher of the victim.
Why
as
would
the
it want
murderer,
to... So, based on what I've gathered, very limited exposure to her spiritual guru benevolence, it seems like she believes you are the product of your higher self wanting to be experimental. So when something bad happens, it's because your higher self is trying to learn about it. So here, she's using murder as an example. So if you are someone who gets murdered or associated with the victim of a murder, it's because your higher self wanted to be in that position. It was all predestined because your higher self wanted to be present for it, to learn about it. Which is the dumbest idea ever. That's actually the stupidest fucking idea.
And by the way, like, look at Hitler. He's one of the poster child children for, like, being an evil person. Do you know how many millions of souls benefited from learning from the experience that he has created? So
The
here,
world serpent has awakened?
You know,
Like the tier 1
look
hell
at
and Goldie.
a character like him and be like, oh, he's completely evil. And upstairs, his experience was one of the greater, sources of knowledge of 3D planet Earth warfare.
3D planet Earth warfare.
And that is benefiting
What?
so many different souls on their...
This is a very interesting take, Maria. So, there's a lot to unpack there, Maria. There's a lot to process. The healing vibrations of the universe have not been kind to her frontal lobe. Wow, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
evolutionary path. So is he evil? Not really. I don't think so.
So interesting. So just it means that some higher selves choose to take this path, and it seems like it's maybe a bit less desirable than other ones because we don't have that many murderers and mass murderers especially, right? But they still choose to do so for their own development. Like,
well, do you want me to give you an even better example?
yeah.
That was an incredible
Do you
example,
think playing
Maria.
World of Warcraft is evil because you're killing things?
Like in a computer game,
Yeah.
people don't think it's evil, yes.
I know. Same logic. It's a computer game from higher self level. Like, fine. Like, I don't know. Any of those are
Same logic. Yeah, killing goblins in World of Warcraft is the same as Hitler for the Holocaust. You hypocrites. What an interesting character she is. Her higher self has very much done her a great justice. Her enlightenment is astounding. She's trolling. I don't know. She has a whole career based out of this, and apparently you can even pay for these sessions privately. But her main hustle is Scentbird, which, again, is a pretty popular product, or at least it was for a little while. She's the CEO of it. Or at least was.
RPG games. I think RPG is what they're called, right? Like, where you, like, go and, like, murder, you know, all kinds of beings.
They're not
which way
beings.
Sunday,
They're
with all kinds
pixels.
of weapons, and you're like, I need this strength, and I need this skill, and let me have this gun, and I want a bigger gun, and even more bullets, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you go in, you may have murdered 1,000 beings.
They're not
on the
beings.
screen,
They're not real.
and then you go on your merry way, and nobody's pointing a finger at you at work and being like, this is a mass murderer. But how is that any different? So that's what I'm
That's
saying.
so
Like,
good.
What we perceive as
Oh
evil
my god.
is not the same experience. Now, you as an avatar, right? You as a person who chooses to play a game, you choose what game you want to play, right? Like, you may go and play Candy Crush. You may go.
She's so fascinating. Like, like she's dangerously stupid. Like, actually stupid to a level where it could be harmful to people around her. Like, there's nothing wrong with being, like, harmlessly dumb, but when you start to cross the threshold, the event horizon that she is, she's to the point where, like, she is actually probably a threat to the safety of those around her. Yeah, like, even her co-host is laughing at that. Alright, we don't have to continue down this rabbit hole. I'll stop. This kind of shit, though, is always just so interesting to me. The co-host is her husband, who is also co-founder and CPO of Scentbird. That must be a great relationship. Honey, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee. And Maria comes out, no! Slaps the coffee mug out of his hands. It's gonna darken your aura! Remember what happened when you killed that level 6 thug in World of Warcraft? You're just like Hitler! I don't know how many of you are following the drama in the pizza industry, but for those of you that aren't, I'll give you a brief overview. Papa John's is a massive pizza chain that I'm sure the majority of you are familiar with. You've probably eaten some of their grease before. You may like it, you may not. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's, you know, that whole deal. Well, it has a founder named John Schnatter, and last year he made a multitude of mistakes. The biggest was saying the N-word on a conference call, which was then brought to the public's attention. Well, as a result of the racism, the Shat Master was taken off the board and annihilated online. In response, Schnatter says that he was pressured into using the N-word by the people on the call, which just sounds ridiculous because I can't imagine on a conference call for business they were poking John Schnatter in the ass saying, hey, be racist, be racist, be racist, until he was racist. Or like some type of hypnotist fucking puts him to sleep and makes him racist. It was a ridiculous defense that he came up with. But anyway, fast forward till today, he's been pretty quiet on most things that I was able to see. And then he comes and does a bizarre interview about where he is now and talking about the day of reckoning.
Sooner or later, the tape's going to come out in public, and people are going to go, wow, that's what he said. And so that's what he said. And they're going, they made this out of that. They know what they did. They know it was a setup.
John Schnatter looks like a Borderlands character. His fucking hair looks cel-shaded. He is the wettest human being I have ever seen. In every commercial, every interview, every picture, he just looks like he's sweating profusely. It's as if he's eaten so much pizza, his skin is starting to become the consistency of pizza, all greasy and shit. But anyway, his side of the story is he was set up by the people closest to him so that way they could take more of the company and take it away from him, which makes a lot more sense than his original defense of the aliens forced him to be racist. But even still, he has no proof behind this claims of setup, and even says there that once the tape comes to light, you'll hear what he actually said. But he also confirmed that he said the N-word, so you're still going to hear the N-word. I don't know. He doesn't really have a solid defense.
When it finally gets out what they did and what was said, I think my phone's going to ring off the hook going, wow, we made a huge mistake here.
John, you naive boomer. It's 2019. No one says sorry for anything, and they for damn sure will not be admitting a mistake.
I've probably had over 40 pizzas, 40, in the last 30 days. They don't make the pizza the way that I used to make it, the way we used to make it. It just doesn't taste the same.
I want you to stop for a moment and just take in how absurd that statement is. That's like one of those SAT math problems that you know could never possibly exist. That shit like, Sally has 10,000 apples and Julie wants half of those in her fridge. What do? Use the algorithmic Pythagorean theorem. It's absurd. 40 pizzas in 30 days. Let's assume he's going on the traditional American diet of 3 meals a day. That means that he was consuming roughly 3.5 pieces of pizza per meal every day for a full month. John, you either can't do math, you're lying, or you have the strongest fucking metabolism of all time. Because this man's heart should have just stopped halfway through this diet. This shit makes the Super Size Me documentary movie look like child's play. That is an absurd number, John. No fucking way you had 40 pizzas in 30 days. It's not possible. The human body wasn't built to handle that kind of magnitude, and especially not Papa John's pizzas. And if the recipe truly does taste different, it's probably because John isn't there. The secret ingredient is probably the moisture from his fucking hair just dripping into the fucking cauldron that they make the pizza in. It's crazy. I don't think he actually had that much pizza, but I could be totally wrong.
I would just say, stay tuned. The day of reckoning will come. The record will be straight.
Why not set the record straight now? I mean, what is it about the record that's not straight?
Stay tuned.
How soon will that happen?
Stay tuned. Sooner than later.
It's like a badly done Joker monologue. It comes across very weird. It sounds like he's calling himself the Antichrist even, the Day of Reckoning, and then this weird giggling stuff. I don't know. It's a very weird interview. Now, growing up, Papa John's was like the only pizza that I actually liked, and even to this day, it's still my favorite pizza. I'm not a huge fan of most pizzas. I can already hear the comment section going off. You never tried New York pizza, have you, Charlie? What the fuck? Yeah, you like Papa John's? That's ridiculous. Oh my God. I just don't like it. I've had a lot of New York pizza when I was in New York. I'm not a huge fan. We have to accept people are going to like different things. I liked Papa John's. I still like Papa John's. It doesn't taste very different to me today. I don't know what John's tasting. Maybe when he eats it now, he tastes a little bit of hate in there. And that's totally understandable, because if I got fired from my massive multi-million-dollar pizza chain, I would never want to eat that pizza again. Anytime I take a bite of that pizza, it tastes like asshole. So I get why he thinks it tastes different, but it really doesn't. It's probably exactly the same. But anyway, growing up, my dad used to tell me stories about John, because John used to do business in the area my dad was in, and he was so confident in his pizza and really wanted it to succeed, he used to drive around in his car and pass out free boxes of pizza to everyone in my dad's area. So I always had a very positive impression of John, just from the stories my dad used to tell about him. He was apparently a great guy around the area. And even in this interview, he talks about some of the community outreach shit he does. I don't know what the fuck has happened. His reputation has certainly been tainted. Maybe he is truly innocent, which seems unlikely in this case, but I guess you never really know. But man, he's made some big old fuck-ups, and that's for goddamn sure. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this bizarre interview that he came out of nowhere to do. I'm excited to see the next developments in this pizza soap opera. That's it. See ya. Speedrunning an intro here. I just learned about some of the most entertaining drama of 2024. I saw it through Evil Pineley's video covering the situation 2 weeks ago, and it is still going currently today. It's about the CEO of a parchment paper business losing his mind and having this whiny temper tantrum meltdown, all because he watched a TikTok video of a girl being cooked a meal by her father.
When I told my dad I was going to be getting him the same pans that Gordon Ramsay has, he was so excited. I'm talking about the Hex-clad pans, and today...
It's a super innocent video of this girl's dad making a meal, and the CEO of parchmentpaper.com was angrier about this than he would be if he walked in on his wife having sex with another man, though it is quite the stretch of imagination to envision this guy, this lunatic, with any kind of companionship in his life. So after watching this, he was infuriated, went on the actual company's business account, and left a mean comment, which started a series of events he couldn't have possibly foreseen.
I posted a video yesterday of my dad cooking for me with these hex-clad pans that we had gotten. There was a comment on there where the person goes, "Must be tough living a life on easy mode." I also didn't think the comment was rude at first, so I responded with, "Lucky to have parents who make it possible." And they responded, "Yeah, we get it. You have no skills and family money."
That's already such a weird comment right there. Must be nice living life on easy mode when it's just a girl getting cooked a meal by a caring father. Like, how bitter and miserable can your life possibly be to just see something like that and be like, I gotta give her a piece of my mind? That's a line that's usually used in reference to camming or OnlyFans or something. Must be nice living life on recruit difficulty because men are giving you a ton of money just to be hot or be naked or something. And this guy's taking that same energy and putting it into this situation where it's just a girl being cooked a meal by her father. Make it make sense. So he's so upset that he's doing this from the actual business account for parchmentpaper.com. So the Parchment Paper Patriot is really having a conniption. And then the poster responds saying, you know, it's supportive family, got lucky. She said she didn't even find it rude at first, which I don't know how you would see that as anything other than rude. But regardless, her response was super sweet, and he gets even more heated about that, fucking steam coming out of his ears, and goes, "Yeah, we get it. You have no skills and family money." What kind of projection is this? Holy insecurity. What do you mean you have no skills? All she did was show a video of her dad cooking her a good meal. It's ridiculous to assume that she has no skills. It's based on nothing. She could have bow hunting skills, nunchuck skills. She could be one of the most skillful human beings on the fucking planet. We have no idea. And then he's going, it's just your family's money. You're suckling off their bosom because your parents have money. What is happening here? Do you have no skills because you probably order Uber Eats all the time? Is your skill just ruining businesses? Like, I mean, that's a pretty cool skill, I guess. But anyway, this is only the beginning of his rampage, and he just fully self-destructs over the course of the next few hours. It's like Chaozu from Dragon Ball Z, when Chaozu latches onto Nappa and blows himself up, but the sacrifice was in vain because Nappa barely felt anything, really. That's what happens here. Parchment Paper Patriot blows up, and the girl, totally fine, and makes an absolute clown out of this guy. Dunks on him. She obliterates this man.
And at that point, I'm just like, okay, what the hell? Like, maybe this account is hacked, because from a business account, that seems kind of weird. So I send them an email and I'm like, hey, like, I think somebody's on your business account, like, leaving cyberbullying comments. Didn't say anything else. That was it. And then I get an email from the CEO of...
I think anybody in their right mind would assume that that business account is hacked, because what little toddler would be shitting their pants, soiling their diaper over something as simple as watching a TikTok video of a girl being cooked a meal by her father? So I think that's very sound logic. Oh, this account must be hacked. I'll let the business know. So she reaches out, and the CEO himself, Brandon Howard, steps forward, saying, I don't consider stating factual information is cyberbullying, but if you're offended over a comment about having no skill set while getting to frolic through life with family money as bullying, I'd call the cyberbully police. Delete the comment and move along. Cheers. Brandon, I think the department we need on this case is the cringe police, because Jiminy Christmas, holy cannoli. Oh, he tried a facts don't care about your feelings moment there. What facts are we talking about? Her having no skill set? You have no idea who she is. You know nothing about her. All you watched was her get cooked a meal. I'm sure your parents cooked you meals at some point, right? Maybe they don't anymore because you're probably insufferable to be around, so they probably cut you off. I imagine that's the case, which is why you're so upset over this moment. I don't see at all how this would be indicative of her just frolicking through life, coasting off of her family's money. That's a unreal leap in logic based on nothing at all. And honestly, she was like a good Samaritan here, like looking out for your business, thinking that you might have been hacked because of how awful this behavior is and how terrible of a look it is for your business. And then you double down and make things significantly worse by being this big loser. Also, I love the chutzpah here from Big Baby Brandon to claim that she was offended over his comment, when this sensitive worm was offended first over her being made a meal. This guy needs to call the wambulance because he can't stop crying about this video of a father making a meal for his daughter.
Considering my parents literally grew up in mud huts, worked their ass off to get out of India, get us here, and get me to the position that I am and able to have a full-time job and a side career. Then he goes back to the page and goes, cyberbullying is even more funny, and the fact that you emailed us to tell us is actually hilarious. Enjoy frolicking through life and leave the rest up to us adults who create actual economic value without a trust.
Yeah, leave the heavy lifting up to the real adults, like Brandon Howard, CEO of ParchmentPaper.com. It's comical that the parchment paper guy is trying to act hard here. Like, I don't know what he expected to happen. He just looks so stupid, claiming that she's like a trust fund kid based on nothing. Literally nothing. All just gobbledygook here. All you saw was a video of her getting made a meal by her father. How could you possibly connect all of these weird dots? To me, it seems like the person who's really frolicking through life on easy mode is you, who has unlimited time in the day to respond to random people on TikTok and leave comments that just let everyone know that you're an outrageous asshole. Like, you must not be doing that well business-wise, if that's what it's boiled down to here.
They did send me a legal notice. It came from info@parchmentpapers.com, and it says that they are really worried about the safety of their team, and if I don't remove the defamatory posts on TikTok, they will be taking legal action, which I don't believe it's defamatory
because it's not defamatory at all. All she did was share his comments, which are public, in that email, his statements, all from his mouth. This stupid douchebag is just doing one of those desperate Hail Mary maneuvers when they have nothing else left and trying their absolute best to save a sinking ship from the holes that they themselves have poked in it. And it doesn't work. And it actually leads to him looking like even more of a clown, because she points out some pretty interesting things about this cease and desist.
So yeah, like, I don't believe it's defamatory. I also don't believe you have a legal department because you signed it incorrectly. It says legal department at parchmentpapers.com. You forgot the dot.
Did you forget to delete the part where it says like your contact information because you're using a template? And also, what's with the cease and desist? I thought it was CEASE. Who's doing your spell check?
Good heavens, Brandon Howard did some ayahuasca and tried to send a cease and desist and lost himself somewhere in the sauce. So apparently it was signed incorrectly from legal department at parchmentpapers.com. And then here's some more information on it, I suppose, where he left in your contact information in brackets. So as she points out, that means he's most likely using a template here. That is actually that shit on a teleprompter where it's like, wait for applause, and you say it out loud, and you're like, ugh, I made a big boo-boo because I wasn't supposed to read that. He fucking left that in. This absolute buffoon. And the goober doesn't even know what a cease and desist is. He did seize and desist. Holy shit. I think he's the only one that works at this company. Nobody else saw this before the email got sent out. His supposed legal department okayed this. If he does have a legal department, they need to be fired right now. They need to get fired yesterday, because that is a disgrace. That is not a legal document whatsoever. Fucking your contact information in brackets, cease and desist. You couldn't have made that any worse. This legal document he tried to send over is now more worthless than the parchment paper that he's built his life upon.
Another day, another email. This time you decided to fix the typos. Congratulations. And you also told me you're fixing the typos. Very interesting thing for your legal department to say.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks. She is cooking him harder than the meal that her father cooked her in the first place that started all of this. I love how he proudly calls attention to fixing the typos. Like a student in class, like, excuse me, teacher, I fixed the spelling mistakes in the cursive. Fix the typos just in case you couldn't figure out we're very serious about this issue, as your direct actions to intentionally harm to us. Oh my god, the grammar is diabolical as well. And our company is not being taken lightly. We expect action to be taken within 48 hours. See attached. There's probably a picture of Brandon Howard's butthole here going spread goatsy on her. So, this is clearly, again, written by someone that is lacking a 4th grade education. Brandon, I think your first hire at parchmentpaper.com should be an English tutor for yourself here. This is bad. How you even attempt to run a business is beyond me. I guess they just let anyone into the parchment paper industry these days. But yeah, So Brandon again tries to strike back here, and again looks super dumb for it. But congrats on fixing the typos, idiot.
But your cease and desist at the bottom, I saw that it said rocketlawyer.com. So of course I had to call them and ask them, is this a real legal document? And they said no immediately, and they said this looks like a phishing scam and you should probably not respond.
Oh god, even rocketlawyer.com's shooting spitballs at Brandon now. Just saying that, no, it's definitely not real. It's probably a phishing scam. Don't respond to it. Oh, what do you use the parchment paper for, Brandon? Honestly, it's almost poetic that the guy who owns a paper business can't read or write very well. I think that's poetic almost.
Anyways, then you decided you're going to start using my work email, which is public, to sign me up for corn sites, for Scientology, but you forgot that those companies will actually send you the IP where the accounts were made from. And it's funny because it's pinging in California, and I'm not in California, so... But I do remember that on Trustpilot, when you had your address up, it was coming up in California. Suspicious, huh?
Brandon's out here collecting L's like they're the Infinity Stones. He is greedy for that shit. He can't stop losing. And I can't stop thinking about how he signed off that legal document about, like, having 48 hours to comply or whatever, trying to give it, like, a deadline, like, this is the ultimatum. You've got to do it within 40 hours, or else it's gonna get serious if you couldn't tell. That's just so lame. Like, I feel like he must have just watched Mission Impossible at some point. This message will self-destruct upon finishing. That kind of thing, and he tried to channel that into this document here to give like a sense of urgency, but it falls so flat.
But you want attention so freaking bad because you will not stop talking about this. You are basically the only one who is still talking about this at this point. Since my initial email to you where I thought your company was hacked, I have not tried to contact you. At first, you were laughing and sipping Mai Tais on the beach, and then you were having crybaby sales because this was drawing you so much attention.
So this video is only 3 days old, which is weeks after Brandon's biblical meltdown, and he's still going on about it. So this is a screenshot from his crybaby special, which, oh my god, the irony almost makes me sick. This fucking guy lacks self-awareness to an almost delusional degree. He is the only one that has been crying. He started with the waterworks and the French cries because he watched a girl get cooked a meal by her father. He is the crybaby, and yet he's still trying to push it on everyone else like they're the problem. Our thousands of real customers will appreciate this. On sale, custom dimensions on demand. Boy, howdy, Brandon. Custom dimension parchment paper? I'm out the door. I gotta get on that right now. All these real customers are probably just so excited by this. Nothing makes me believe in a company quite like them referring to their customers as the real customers. I'm sure there's probably dozens of them. Dozens.
Your fake legal letters were not working. You thought it would be a smart idea to reach out to my boss at the agency that I work for and ask him to remediate the situation for you. You thought you could tell my boss to tell me to delete my videos. Just because you involved your business by commenting from your business profile does not mean that you get to include my place of work.
Pathetic, slimy tactics from an absolute greaseball here. So he apparently contacts her boss to try and whine to him to fix it, which obviously didn't do anything. Brandon, this is so sad. This is so embarrassing.
When all of this failed, you thought it would be a great idea to send me one more email stating that you will deal with it as you see fit, whatever the hell that means. And then you decided to add this banner to your website. I'm sure you think that
this is when it gets so spicy. We do not support woke feminist cancel culture hate mob groups who do nothing positive in our community. On his official parchmentpaper.com website, this guy has lost his marbles. He's off his gourd right now. He's going sicko mode. Brother, what are you even talking about? All she did was showcase your comments and made fun of you. What is the woke feminist cancel culture movement here? You made yourself look stupid and people clowned on you for it, rightfully so. You are the problem. And also, didn't you just try one of those cancel culture maneuvers by contacting her boss and her place of work to get her in trouble because of you and your beef with her? How can you lack self-awareness to this degree? It's almost criminal, I would say. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. So he's got this now proudly posted on his website at that point, and I also love how he says that she does nothing positive for the community. When you came out of nowhere, the negative Nancy, just saying that she lives life on easy mode and has no skills and relies on her family's money, all just because she had a video of her father cooking for her. What are you talking about? What positive shit do you bring to the world, Brandon? Now, I will say, that section right there is just so outlandish with the woke feminist cancel culture mob being on the paper's website. It's so over the top that I half believe that might actually be faked by somebody, and I also struggle to believe that Brandon would be competent enough to even put that on his website in the first place. I just don't think he has the capability to do that, and I really don't think he has a team around him. I think it's just him. So I think that one might not be real, but to argue against that point, his statements on the official Black Label Paper Instagrams echo that same sentiment about like the woke cancel culture mob and all of that shit. So there is a chance that it's real. There is a very good chance that it's real, but I do want to put it out there that I haven't been able to 100% confirm beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is, because as of right now, it's not on the website. But he could have just deleted it after backlash.
But you continue to talk about it, you continue to make stories about it, and you continually want the attention. As if all of this was not enough, you decided that you were going to start making all of your stories on your Black Label Paper account involving your other company now for no apparent reason. Take down another company, why don't you?
So this is his other business that he's now calling in off the bench for this drama. I cannot imagine why he thought that'd be a good idea, but it's Black Label Paper. So all of his businesses are parchment and paper related, and I would wager a guess that the quality of his product is most likely atrocious, probably not even like worthy to be toilet paper if I had to guess. So he goes, all you fucking losers need to stop messaging us about a fake TikTok account made by then her and her dumb-ass minions because her fragile little ego couldn't handle a couple smart-ass comments on IG about skill set and money. I've never had the commie bullshit app TikTok in my entire life. A bold-faced lie. Also, why would you be posting this on your business account again? Like, your real customers that didn't know about any of this are now being made aware of it, and you look so weak and pathetic in all of it. And tell that little... Oh my god. Oh, what? Oh, I can't even read these. Holy shit. Fucking losers, I swear, it's been 2 weeks almost and still have to deal with this childish bullshit. You are the only one keeping it up, by the way. You are the only one that still is doing this and engaging with it. No one else is talking about it. This drama it's dried up. It's gone stale. But he keeps putting it on people's radar. He keeps serving this up on a plate to us. He's cooking it for us. And we're eating it. He's doing it. He's the chef. She is too immature to settle this privately, and I'm not going to let some woke hate mob ruin my reputation because they live in some mystical fairyland of make-believe and think because they have 20k followers they're doing something in life. Clown emojis. I also can't help but laugh at how much he keeps trying to throw out woke, cancel culture, all of that kind of shit. Just a bunch of buzzwords that don't even apply here, because all that happened was she showed these comments from a laughably embarrassing CEO that he publicly made and then shared his email where he doubled down on it. That's it. It's all his fault. There's nothing else beyond that. And he just can't accept it. He can't come to terms with reality because he lives in the mystical fairyland. Like, he's in the fucking Narnia. Nobody else. It's just him. Here's another one of his posts, this time on a really cute background. He talks about Business Insider and some articles reaching out for a comment. Some fragile ego wannabe influencer IG about their lack of skill set and frolicking through life, where she got so offended and cited the woke hate mob smear campaign against me to get me canceled. Fake accounts were made by her delusional woke followers. He just keeps sprinkling that in there as much as possible, just trying desperately. I cleared up the reality of the situation with all three media outlets. It didn't fit their narrative either, which was to further extend the adult children drama. God. So after 9 years in business, 3 business publications don't care about the good I've done and the help I give to people on a daily fucking basis. Yeah, I'm sure your parchment is invaluable. I'm sure you're doing a great service. You really seem like a stand-up gentleman. Their entire goal is just to hate people who try and do good. You really seem like you're striving to do good, Brandon. You really fucking do, brother. Yeah. What a saint. Oh, they demand respect, yet do absolutely nothing to earn it, and hate every person who doesn't bend over for their spineless agenda. If you're going to try and shit on me, my brand, business, and companies, you losers need a job, hobby, life outside of TikTok. Fucking losers in their 20s with an 11-year-old intelligence, but yeah, I'm the asshole. Yeah, you are the asshole, Brandon. Also, you're the one with the 11-year-old intelligence. You can't even read and write properly. You tried to make a legal department, like to cosplay as a legal department, and couldn't even get the emails correctly. Typos out the wazoo, and even in the ones where you fix the typos and even proudly proclaim that you fix the typos, you still make a typo. You suck. Like, you are the one with the child brain.
Sure what your end game here is, and I'm not even sure that you know what your end game here is, but
In your own words, I don't have time to bicker back and forth about some nonsense comments, nor is it my problem that you're offended over them.
Yeah, that about sums that up. I think she did a great job of just closing the book on it with that final statement there. Fucking fire. I think this whole drama has been so wacky, like entertainingly silly, all over nothing. It started over nothing. Just a really insecure, sensitive guy who lost his mind and couldn't help but do as much damage to him and his business's reputation. And very impressive stuff. I had to talk about this when I learned about it. Huge thanks to Pinely for showing me this, because this is gold. This is some of that, like, top tier drama. You know what I mean? So I had to talk about it. That's about it. See ya. How the fuck is it going, everyone? I'll go ahead and acknowledge the elephant in the room. That Lubriderm lotion right there is not for masturbating. I use it for my hands. I just forgot to take it back to the bathroom, and I just now noticed it when I started up the recording. Anyway, what we're here to talk about today is Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford and the hot water he finds himself in. Randy Pitchford is the CEO of Gearbox, aka Borderlands Studio, because that's the only good game they make. Good. I'm not even a fucking fan of the series, but I can acknowledge that it is a good series. But anyway, Randy Pitchford finds himself in some hot water, some real hot diarrhea water. He's getting sued for a bunch of different shit that I'm not really going to talk about because it's not super important to the story, but I need to talk about him getting sued because it is important to what we're about to talk about and listen to. Randy Pitchford's going to tell us a story, like a beautiful little school teacher telling us a great story, except Randy's story is about weird porn. But anyway, in the lawsuit, it's alleged he had a USB stick of underage porn on it, and he goes on a podcast the day after this lawsuit comes out and talks about his USB stick of porn. He claimed it was of-age porn, barely legal porn is what he called it. And I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to listen to this guy's fucking disgustingly weird story, and we're going to reflect on it together. But I don't know what kind of fucking caveman carries around porn on a USB stick, nor how he could ever think it'd be a good idea to go on a podcast the day after these claims come out and corroborate that, yeah, he had a USB stick of porn, but it was for the purpose of magic tricks.
I'll carry my work around on a memory stick. And now today, I have these crazy encrypted memory sticks that have like, you have to punch in passcodes.
Because if I had one of your memory sticks and I knew about stuff, I assume that...
The name of this podcast is The Piff Pod, and based on this one episode I've listened to here, I hope you like interruptions if you listen to these guys. Holy shit. If you thought the official podcast had a lot of interruptions, you have not seen shit yet. This is the final boss of interruptions. Randy Pitchford could barely manage to get a full sentence out without being interrupted. Even the female co-host had to constantly say, stop interrupting him, get back to the story. Because this guy that keeps interrupting him just keeps going on these awful tangents that don't even lead to like a good joke or anything. And they're so long and completely derail the story and the conversation. I bet Randy Pitchford probably couldn't even get a full urine stream into a urinal at this place without this man busting into the bathroom and pinching the tip of his dick close so he could talk about something and then let him go back to peeing. This man interrupts everything Pitchford does and says. Holy shit.
I had some so I was one night I was watching cam girl pornography. Have you ever watched, do you know what cam girl pornography is?
Is that the interactive one?
Yeah, there's what you do is you can get a webcam and you point it at yourself, and people will watch the video of this while they'll egg you on by giving you money basically as you take your clothes off and eventually
they give you money?
Well,
I like how he's pretending he doesn't know as if he's not watching cam girl porn every night. I might have heard of cam girl porn once or twice. That's that degenerate one, right? Where it's like interactive or something. Oh, what you give the girls money? Oh, that I would not. Who's giving girls money? I would never do that just so they could like say my name while putting a butt plug in their asshole. I mean, what are you talking about, Randy? It's weird.
And I just discovered this. And I was just fascinated, like, what the fuck? Like, when I was a kid, you paid a bum $5 to go buy you a pornographic magazine from the liquor store. Like,
right.
That's how I got access to pornography when I was a kid. So, like, and you know, and I had a teenage son, so I was like, this is fascinating.
You know, I really just don't understand your point with that right there, Randy. I have a teenage son, so I was watching cam girl porn. Because I have a teenage son, obviously.
And this one is just like I can't quite make sense of what the little thumbnail image is, so I'm looking into it, and it's a woman who is masturbating, and when she has some experience that appears as if she's having an orgasm, a huge amount of fluid comes out of her vagina. She has some kind of an explosive orgasm.
Hey, Jay.
This is not a sex worker. This is a fucking magician.
Honestly, that's a pretty profound statement right there from Randy, and I'd be lying if I said I haven't said shit similar when watching porn, like, damn, this girl is a wizard with cock. But to go the extra mile and claim that I was watching the porn to figure out if she was an actual wizard of penis, it's a bit of a stretch, but Randy really doubles down on the idea that he really needed to figure out if this girl was a big shot magician. It's a fucking crazy story. I hope you're buckled in.
And so apparently what you can do is they make videos and they sell them. And so I purchased one of her videos. I wanted to watch this.
You wanted to work out the method.
I wanted to work out the method, but it was late, so I copied it over to this memory stick.
But why? Why would you do that? If you're already watching this cam girl squirting, I'm assuming you're watching this in a safe location to be watching porn. You're not on a subway, in an airplane, at a Starbucks, or anything like that. So why would you copy it to a USB stick? That's you copy shit there if you want to take it somewhere. Where are you taking this porn? You bringing it over to your parents' house to show them? You bring it to your kids to show them? Where are you taking this? Do you take it to work with you? Is that what a Gearbox CEO does? Is that why Gearbox is such a shit video game company and pumping out shit stinkers? Because the fucking CEO of Gearbox is just jerking off in his office, bringing in porn on USB sticks?
And I go on my way. It turns out it was a magic trick. Like she's like it's a combination of camera work and sleight of hand, and I never saw like a turkey baster or whatever it was that she was using to deliver the fluid.
Goods, yeah.
But there was some method here that was like, oh my god, this is genius. It was super clever.
Oh, Jesus Christ, calm down there, Randy. Don't break the magician's code and reveal how the trick was done. You need to calm down there. You do not want to piss off the Cam Girl Magic Society. I just love that his excuse for downloading it was that he was trying to study the magic behind it, like the art behind it. I fucking love that excuse. I could already see that working growing up. No, Mom, you don't understand. I'm watching this to learn. I'm trying to study magic. You don't get out of my fucking room. It's also a little sad that when you break this down, Randy watched a cam girl squirt and he was so unfamiliar with squirting that he thought the only logical explanation was he was being deceived. It was magic. Like, he is so unfamiliar with a girl squirting or having an orgasm that he couldn't believe it was real and had to go out of his way to break it down and figure out how she cheated and used magic.
The memory stick somehow no longer was in my possession.
Oh, God.
And it was discovered, it was actually at a Medieval Times. Apparently some kid, an employee of the Medieval Times, and discovered secrets of my company and future games in development, and also discovered the pornography. It was barely legal porn. Like this girl's handle was only 18.
I had to splice the shit out of that audio to make that like a cohesive storytelling there. Because Randy Pitchford was constantly interrupted by that fucking co-host who kept going off on like 2-minute, 3-minute tangents about the medieval times and then asking what he had on his shirt and asking why he likes the shirt. It was frustrating to put that together, but in a nutshell, he had it on the USB stick. He left it at a medieval times because everyone carries their porn stick to the medieval times when they eat, obviously. And then an employee found it, accessed company secrets and the porn, which was barely legal porn. And now we get to the section of the story where his whole company finds out that he's jerking it to some cam girls.
So when he delivered this memory stick to the studio, I was on a business trip. I was out of town. So my executive assistant decides she's going to look at the contents as well.
Oh, God.
And so then before I know it, I think the entire office looked at it.
Oh,
no.
And
there was one piece of content on here, and it never occurred to any of them that the reason why there was just that single porno was because of the magic trick, not because of, I don't know what the fuck they thought.
Porn.
Yeah, one of the lines that I heard was, you know, the kind of porn that Randy likes.
And at no point did any of these fucking troglodytes at my company stop and think maybe the reason this porno's on there is because she's a magician, god damn it. A magician with a magic trick that I just had to study. It was the Gordian knot that I had to cut. This was my white whale, my Moby Dick. I needed to figure out how she squirted so much fluid. None of them even considered that possibility. Randy, you fucking weirdo. If you came in possession of that USB stick and you saw that porn, would the first thing you think be like, huh, maybe this guy's not jerking off to this? That'd make no sense. Maybe what he's actually doing is trying to study some, magic. But really, that's where the story ends, because then it just once again devolves into a competition for the host to talk over Randy. And it's just a constant feud to say things at each other. But anyway, what a fucking story, Randy. That's wild. Randy Pitchford, more like Randy Pitch a Tent, because this man is carrying porn around all the time, apparently. Fucking crazy. Wild tale, and now all of you out there have a good excuse. If your significant other finds your porn or something, just say, hey, look, I was just trying to learn the method, you know what I mean? Like, I'm onto a big breakthrough here in my magic career. I think it's foolproof. That shit is fucking watertight, bulletproof, and that is an insane fucking story right there. Again, I just wanted to focus on the story you told on this podcast. I don't want to talk about the lawsuit or any of the claims going around there, because I don't know the whole story there. All I know is the whole story from this weird fucking USB stick porn adventure from Randy. So, Gearbox is still a shit video game company, but goddamn it, Randy, I like your story. It's a weird one. Take it easy. See ya. How far would you go to be the best? The number one in your industry? You've got to be willing to put everything on the line. And today's story is about a man who did just that. A man with dreams to be the number one bouncy castle business. He wanted to be the jumping castle god. But unfortunately, he flew a little too close to the sun and his wings burned up. Well, not really his wings. He just burned up every business that also sold jumping castles. He committed a series of arson attacks on rival bouncy castle businesses. His name is James Balcom, and he looks like a silly character you'd make with the Dark Souls character creator. He's currently serving an 11-year sentence for all of this, and I just found the whole story so wild. I legitimately feel bad for all of the rival businesses because a few of them lost their entire business to his arson attacks. So there were very real victims and very real trauma from it, from having their literal place of work be lit on fire and fucking incinerated by this madman, this lunatic. So I wanted to go over this story here because it's a weird one. Did you see the video on Melbourne's bouncy castle king that was jailed over a string of fire attacks on his rival bouncy castle businesses? Oh my god, what? Anderson threw a Molotov cocktail through a smashed window at a business, causing a huge blaze that engulfed the factory and destroyed 110 jumping castles. And it looks like he's going to jail. And it looks like he's done quite a few of these. This is very interesting. This happened last month. You've been holding out on me? Why didn't you tell me about this? Jumping castle operator jailed over arson attacks on Melbourne rivals. James Balcom set on destroying rival businesses that if one fire caused minor damage, he commissioned another. Wow. He desired to be the number one in Melbourne's jumping castle game, and it's seen him jailed for up to 11 years over a series of arson attacks. What a crazy thing to commit your life to, being the number one jumping castle guy. The whole bouncing castle cartel. It's so weird. It seems like most often the most unhinged business people are the ones in like the children's entertainment center or sphere. Like the bouncy castle guys running like an arson unit to take out competitors. Surprised this isn't from Florida. Fucking true. Amen. I am almost disappointed it's not from Florida, if I'm being honest. The County Court of Victoria heard that Balcom, whose company Awesome Party Hire was ranked number one on Google after he commissioned the attacks on rival businesses, was arrested after he ordered that his own shed be torched. Galaxy Brain covering his tracks. No, I'm not the one behind the arson attacks. Look, someone lit my empty shed on fire last night. We have to put a stop to fucking Firefly ASAP. Please, God, anyone, the Human Torch has gone loose. He's rogue. Only way to stay on top. I would argue the only way to stay on top is to legitimately be the best jumping castle business as opposed to the only one that's not lit on fire. For example, let's say I'm in the market for getting some bouncy castles and I really want high quality product. I'm checking Google and Awesome Party Hire's number one. But then I scroll down and it says like all of the ones underneath it are literally cremated. I'd be like, this is fishy. I'll just get a bigger birthday cake. Fuck the castle. I feel like that'd just be like a very big red flag if that is the only jumping castle business that's left standing. 3 days after a March 2017 fire, Anderson was arrested and subsequently named Balcom as the instigator of the blaze and the attacks on rival businesses. Oh, so this has been going on for a while. Balcom, 58, appeared on Thursday by video link from prison in the county court where he was jailed for up to 11 years. Balcom has already served 2 years and 5 months and will be eligible for parole after 7 years and 10 months. Damn. They got him. I really am imagining like a Godfather situation. Like, it really seems so fucking intense in the Bouncy Castle game. You come to me on the eve of my daughter's birthday party and light my Bouncy Castle business on fire. You got some nerve. It's a dirty game in a cruel world. Yeah. It's not easy to put a smile on the face of children. It comes at a cost. And that cost is fire and flames. They're bouncing on the backs of the corpses of other Bouncy Castle businesses that came before them. And they don't even know it. It impacted the livelihood of others and caused significant loss, suffering, and emotional trauma. Yeah, I mean, yeah, arson will do that to you. One business was targeted 3 times. At that point, just hire full-time firefighters on standby. That is so interesting. What does he look like? I want to look him up. Oh, wow. This... I imagine you also got an image in your head of some, like, lunatic-looking guy. I'm just going to tell you right now, he looks exactly like the image you have in your head. This looks like an AI-generated arsonist. What the fuck? It's always the people you least expect, I suppose. Jesus. Why is his head so pointed? I don't know, man. I didn't create him in the Street Fighter 6 character creator. I have no idea. I didn't work on these sliders. He got done dirty, though, I'll tell you that much. God, this is so powerful. You became very successful in the jumping castle industry, but you also became completely fixated and obsessed with it. It consumed your every waking moment, Court Judge Stuart Bales told Balcom. You became the Dark Knight. You fell right into the Joker's palms. You're better than this, James. Gotham deserved more. Is that a mugshot? Yeah, he's already served 2 years of his sentence. So this must have been when they brought him in. They probably had to drag him kicking and screaming out of his bouncy castle. 110 jumping castles ignited and lost in an instant. Jesus, they lost their entire business from that. This morning when I got up, a buddy of mine gave me a late Christmas gift. Santa Claus must have forgot this one in the bag, but he sent it to me. It was a clip from Madam Web, a clip that I had already scrubbed from my memory. It's where she's edging a Pepsi can for like 5 scenes in a row. So she's like fidgeting with it, she's caressing it, fondling it, playing with the tab on it, and never actually opens it. And this goes on for like 2.5 minutes or something like that. Where many scenes, back to back to back, she just has this Pepsi can and she's just, like she's doing a fucking secret handshake with it. Narratively, the reason she's doing that is because she wanted a beer. So the natural human reaction to not getting a beer and getting a Pepsi instead is to then start groping your Pepsi can for 2.5 minutes like an absolute lunatic. And it reminded me not only of how horrible Madam Web is, but also how we got to this point. With Sony Pictures CEO Tony Vinciquerra just being a delusional imbecile. A few days ago, he came out to publicly defend and deflect for the Sony lack of Spider-Man Spider-Verse, where they produced these films for Spider-Man villains that took them and made them into basically what ChatGPT thinks heroes are. And these films have not been received well. It's been flopping more than when I take my cock out of my shorts to tinkle. It has been nothing but embarrassing movies that they have produced. And Tony Vinciquerra can't wrap his head around why they're not performing well. And it just showcases that the leadership at these massive companies is so out of touch that it's sickening. The reason they're not performing well should be obvious. Because the movies are bad and it's things nobody wants. Even conceptually, this formula that they tried to cook up here is just dog shit. It's a recipe nobody wants to eat. You're taking Spider-Man villains, hold the Spider-Man, and turning them into heroes. Not even anti-heroes, but in the lamest possible way, like CW level hero slop. It makes no sense. I don't know who it's for. Out of all of the Sony lack of Spider-Man Spider-Verse, the only ones that have at least done decently in the box office are the Venom films. And it's not like they're amazing movies, but they're significantly more entertaining than the others that they've pumped out. The Morbius, the Craven, the Madam Web, you know, all that. Like, Venom has worked to a certain extent because it's at least silly fun, at bare minimum. The others are a tedious chore to sit through. It's more stimulating to listen to a lecture on ATP in an anatomy and physiology course than it is to go see a Sony lack of Spider-Man Spider-Verse film. And Tony Vinciquerra is just deflecting. He can't understand why they're not doing well because he doesn't think they're terrible movies, and he blames the press for it. Highlighting the box office disasters this year for them with Madam Web and Kraven the Hunter. Kraven the Hunter in particular has underperformed beyond your wildest possible expectations of what underperforming could even look like. Whatever you thought was possible for dog shit in the box office, Kraven the Hunter has exceeded. And Tony, he knows that. He described Kraven as the worst launch that Sony has had since starting its Marvel franchise. And then also added, so that didn't work out very well, which I still don't understand because the film is not a bad film. Tony, come back to reality, man. Not only is it a bad film, but no one wanted to see it in the first place because it is a company that has a reputation for pumping out bad movies in this genre. And it's also a movie about a Spider-Man villain that doesn't have Spider-Man in it, so why are people going to go watch the villain be the hero? It doesn't... Who is this for, Tony? It's not for you because you're not watching it. I know you haven't seen this movie, Tony. Don't you ever lie to me again. Don't you ever tell fibs. Liars go to hell, Tony. So stop it. Cut it out. You haven't seen this movie, because if you did, you would know exactly why it hasn't done well. It's a bad movie. It also didn't help that the director of Kraven had to come out and publicly beg people to give the movie a chance. That is so sad, like begging people to show up to your birthday party. The director's saying people have got to give us a chance and come out and support this film and literally try to wash away some of the other stuff that's happened. Give our film a chance. Even acknowledging shortcomings in this fucking lack of Spider-Man verse. And anyone who was suckered into this by the director pulling on their heartstrings, well, you know what they got rewarded with? A bad movie! Kraven sucks! It's not good. Anyone who went to see it wasted their money and time with seeing it. It's better than Madam Web, though, but that's the lowest possible bar you could ever set for something. And Tony actually had some very interesting words about Madam Web. Madam Web underperformed in the theaters because the press just crucified it. It was not a bad film and it did great on Netflix. For some reason, the press decided that they didn't want us making these films out of Kraven and Madam Web and the critics just destroyed them. Tony, Madam Web is a pile of shit with fart on top. I don't expect him to come out here and be like, look, we know this is trash. We know the movie's trash. I don't expect him to do that. But he can at least have some dignity here and throw away the delusion for a second and be like, oh, these movies underperformed and we need to take a step back and understand that maybe we weren't delivering the quality that fans would expect from these properties. Like, that's a classy way of handling it, as opposed to just saying, it's all the press's fault. The press, for some reason, just had it really out for Madam Web and Kraven. We created masterpieces, but the press, they crucified it. No, man. People with eyes crucified it. It sucks. You didn't watch Madam Web. I know you didn't watch it, Tony. Because if you did, you would know what everybody who was subjected to this torture knows. It's boring, and it is a movie where, like, actually nothing happens. It's terrible. It became a huge meme because of just how terrible it is. Oh, man, that was the guy that was with my mother when they were researching spiders right before she died. Like, that became a huge meme. It's bad in every possible department a movie can be bad in. The action, for how little there is in here, there's like 2 scenes of action, is horrible, where like the ambulance crashes through that building at one point, and it's going to miss the main villain. I don't even remember who the villain is. I don't remember his name or anything about him. I just remember this scene where the ambulance is crashing through a building, it's going to miss him, so the villain jumps in front of the ambulance so it'll hit him. Every part of this movie doesn't work. That is why Madam Web didn't do well. Not because the press had it out for Madam Web for some reason. It's just not a good movie. Tony just loves passing the blame and has the convenient excuse of the critics and the press. They also did it with Venom, but the audience loved Venom and made Venom a massive hit. These are not terrible films, they were just destroyed by the critics and the press for some reason. Now, there has never been a time in history where people have less faith in critics than now. So I promise you, it doesn't matter what the critics are saying, it's not really going to change how people feel when they leave a movie. In fact, a lot of times, people will go see a film in spite of how much they distrust the journalists that cover it. This is not an excuse that works. Like, I fucking can't stand, like, IGN, for example. But if IGN said Venom was the worst movie ever made and I go see it and I like it, I'm not going to let that IGN review change the way I felt about the movie. This is a stupid scapegoat that you're trying here, Tony. Now, of course, I do still believe that sometimes reviews, if they're just overwhelmingly negative, will scare some people away from seeing it, and those people will be more reserved and wait to see what others say. But I think in cases of like a superhero movie, the people that are planning to see it are the same ones that are probably going to already distrust the critics and the press and what they say about a film. The big thing is no one wanted to go see these because they're not interested in seeing them, and they already knew that they were likely going to be bad. Completely regardless of what the press was already saying about it. Now, in the case of Venom, Venom is also not an amazing movie. There is not an amazing movie in the Venom trilogy, but that trilogy is at least fun. There's action, there's charm, there's comedy that works from time to time. So those movies are entertaining to watch. Craven, Madam Web, Morbius, those movies are a slog. They are a chore to sit through. It's a punishment if you have to watch one of those. Like, it's not comparable. It seems like they're finally throwing in the towel for this strategy that just has not been working at all, saying, I do think we need to rethink it just because it's snake-bitten. If we put another one out, it's going to get destroyed no matter how good or bad it is. Again, that's just cope. You haven't made a good one yet. Like, that's the problem. Tony just being all pathetic about it and pouting. You know, even if we made a masterpiece, everyone's just gonna call it stinky anyway. Like, brother, you just haven't made anything good. It's also a bad idea that you tried in the first place. Look, man, it didn't work. Move on. But stop trying to push the blame onto the way the press reacted to the bad movies. Anybody that watched them will say the same thing about them, that they just weren't good. Like, Craven and Madam Web are 2 of the worst movies of the year. But anyway, though, the reason I'm talking about Tony is because it's a good insight into the people that lead these massive corporations and just how far from the public consciousness they are, where he is with a straight face saying that the reason Madam Web and Craven are failing isn't because they're bad movies, because they're not. It's just because of the press. That's so delusional. They are just not good movies. Again, I don't expect Tony to come out here and eat a mouthful of ass on it, being like, yep, these movies are garbage. I just expect him to just be more honest about it and say, like, hey, looks like you guys weren't responding super positively to these films, so we're going to re-strategize this approach to this universe. Like, that's, like, you're acknowledging that people don't like them without making excuses for it, and you're talking about how you're going to go forward and hopefully learn from this failure. But in today's day and age, there is no such thing as a CEO that gets it. It's just like Ubisoft here, constantly doing the same shit and wondering why it's failing without ever taking a moment to see the root cause of what's causing the failure. That's exactly the street Tony is walking right now. The Ubisoft path. But with terrible, no Spider-Man movies that he's pumping out. I am curious to see what they plan to do going forward now, though. Honestly, they should just sell the rights. Like, they clearly cannot use it very well. I think it is about time they just fully throw in the towel and call it quits on it. But regardless, even if they do continue this path going forward, not going to bother me much because I like bad movies. But unfortunately, almost all of these haven't been fun bad. They've been waste of time bad, which is the worst kind. But I guess we'll see what happens next for Sony Pictures here in this universe they've built up. It's really about it. See ya.